1.
Good evening and welcome to the EDIC meeting of August 12th. Let's start with a pledge of allegiance, please. We all rise. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am going to admit I said Liberty with a W. I am so sorry. I meant Liberty. Oh,
Put that in the minutes.
I should it's off. Well, it's recorded now. So I should have taken a longer nap. Thank you all for coming this evening. Mike sends his apologies. And review the minutes of July 1, 2024 is item number 1 after the pledge. So would you like to review the minutes and let us all know if you'd like to adopt them or make any edits or corrections, changes? And please do if you see any. I looked at them, I didn't see anything, but sometimes I miss something. When you're ready, someone can make a motion and just say, even if you have a correction, a motion with a correction or something like that at your speed.
I move that we accept the minutes of, where's the date?
July 1,
July.
2024, I believe.
Thank you.
No worries.
July 1st, 2024, as presented, written and presented.
There's a motion to accept. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Very good. Need some more review time? You good? I know.
I'm okay.
Okay,
Just-
Vicky, you
just
good
get
so
it.
far? Yeah, we good? Okay, before I call the vote, I like to triple check
Mhm.
because sometimes we have an edit, so. All right, thank you very much. I'll start at Vicky's end of the table. All those in favor of accepting the minutes, Vicky,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
I'll make it unanimous. Thank you very much. Item number 2, continued review of the request for proposals. Request with proposed changes. I know Steve and Vicky worked on this since the July meeting. Thank you to both. And Steve, this has been your project. Would you like to represent or move this forward?
I can. I'll kind of go through some of the changes that we made.
Thank you, sir.
So I think on page 1, under 3, scope of services, we have develop a digital marketing strategy, including data and metrics aligned with EDIC's economic goals and objectives, and incorporating a database management functionalities. And
Sorry, Steve, just for a second. I did not say the RFP is for digital marketing services. I should have said that. I apologize.
Okay.
Keep going, sir. Thank you.
we remove pay-per-click at the bottom of that, just because we don't want to be too specific about that. And on page 2, we eliminated video marketing and production because TCTV can serve those functions for you. The key performance indicators below that, I think, was just my goof of I don't know if it was spelled out before, so.
Got it.
And just added TCTV to abbreviate Templeton Community Television below that. On page 3, we do need an add start date.
Mhm.
And we added below that in selection criteria, specify if you work with other EDOs or relevant organizations. Under 7, submission instructions, we need to add a date there for proposals submittals. For deadline, I believe.
Where is that, Steve? I'm
Oh,
it's not
bottom
definite.
of
So there's
What page?
Page
3,
Mhm.
very bottom.
5, and then at the very bottom.
Got it. Thank you.
On page 4, we have a comprehensive digital marketing strategy and campaign plan. I did make a comment in one of the drafts that I wonder, because this is going in a submission, and I think you're gonna need a couple meetings with a digital marketing firm before they can really do a comprehensive
Mhm.
study. I
Okay,
think asking for one up front is, they might give you one, but it might not be what you want. And they should sit down with you. That's just my thought.
okay, that's very reasonable. I would think with anything that a consultant provides to a community that you give us a draft, we tweak it, we go back with edits if any are needed. So I think that
Mhm.
applies to probably any written product.
Mhm.
I'm guessing. Okay, all right, thank you.
And I don't know. So I don't know if we want to keep that or change it.
What would you change it to then?
You know, just to
Okay,
see what-
okay,
if
all
I
right.
had any good ideas.
I'll stop peppering you with questions. Go
We
ahead.
could just, yeah, so instead of comprehensive, we could say just appropriate draft of a digital marketing strategy
Yeah.
campaign.
Appropriate draft and final. So that gives, lets them know we want two.
No, you don't want a final in your submission. You want to talk to them, I would.
Sorry,
think.
misunderstood. This is criteria. Yep, yeah, I retract what I said. Yep. Yes, you're right. Thank you.
What'd you propose, Vicky?
Just a draft or
Okay.
an
Yeah,
appropriate
a
draft.
Digital marketing.
Yeah, in the world, we usually call it a sample, something like that, that they can, they know what they're talking about by providing us with a relevant sample.
So
Sure.
that's different than what I'm suggesting. That works too for me, though. Just something that would give us an idea of what they would.
Sample comprehensive or comprehensive sample digital plan is either way, just so, or one of their products or something like, you don't need to change anything but based on what I'm suggesting, honestly. You really don't.
Like, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. keep first.
I thought sample would be, I was hearing sample as an example of something they've done.
Oh, yeah.
Versus a draft of what they would propose we do.
Yeah. An example of a past product is usually something you ask for, so they can show us that they've done the kind of work that we're looking for.
Yeah.
But whatever is your pleasure, let us know. Liz?
I like
Please.
draft.
I kind of. We need to get to a draft, but I like, Ricky's idea of a sample. Just so you can, if it's. Someone, it gives an example of the quality of the work that they potentially would be doing for us.
It's very typical to ask consultants for a sample of their work at the time of submission or at the time of an interview. In this case, I don't know if we'd be doing interviews, but at the time you submit the written proposal, give us a sample of your work. I mean, we do it for W-2 people when we interview. Okay, now after the interview, please send us a sample of your work. Pretty common, I
So,
think.
right, yeah,
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 okay.
it is. So the question is, do you want, or Vicky, are you proposing to include it in this or later?
As a review criterion?
Yeah.
Good question. I think it would need to be definitely up here as well as maybe below. And I think sample, that makes perfect sense. We should, I love that idea. And then the other one that I'm just thinking of is if we don't have, we might just want to do it in addition to a high level draft. That way we have some kind of idea of what they're thinking for us.
Sure.
I just want to make sure we have some kind of idea of what their deliverables would be for us specifically, so that we can know, we can gauge that they've actually looked at the town website,
Right,
Right,
good point.
So
And-
do you want to make a proposal for or
Yes,
Amendment, a
amendment?
word or two.
I
Much.
propose under section 7, fourth bullet down, striking comprehensive and replacing it with a sample. And an additional bullet. Requesting that proposals have a high level overview of their of a potential plan for Templeton's digital marketing.
You want to say a similar plan? A plan that's relevant to this, what we're asking for?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want to ask for an example of some of their work in forgot what I just said. I'm so sorry.
An example that is relevant to what we're.
That
asking.
relevant to what they did, like show us a product you've done before that's relevant so we can see your work. That's what I'm trying to say.
So what I'm,
He's got the pen in hand.
well.
I mean, am I clear? I'm sorry if I'm unclear.
No, you're clear. I just think
Okay.
that you have industry experience with using the word sample in a different way than I'm understanding it. And so
Mm.
we should make sure we're being specific.
Relevant work product previously conducted by the firm,
Yeah,
relevant to this RFP. Now I'm trying to use the more highfalutin words.
A relevant work product.
Relevant work product. There you go.
So a sample relevant work product. Right, a sample relevant work product. For a digital marketing strategy and campaign plan. Wow, I cannot talk.
That's okay. I think you got it.
I've been like this all day today.
Well, you're doing fine, I think. And I think the three of you are coming up with some really good edits. I think that's going to work.
Sample digital, okay.
that works. And then that's different from, so that's one. And then the additional bullet I was going down was, how are we going to get a picture from them of what they're envisioning for us, just on a really basic level?
Yep.
And so I was thinking just we could even request a high level overview of a concept or a
Approach is usually the word I use in these kind of things is,
that works.
concept approach or your approach to completing this work per the scope of services. I've used phrases similar to that in the past. Is that going to where what are you talking about, Vicky?
It is.
Yes, I
Yeah.
like all of that, but give me the words again.
Can you rewind, Hannah? No, I'm kidding. I'm
Something
kidding.
like a high level approach.
Go ahead. I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
Oh,
Steve.
you're doing fine. High level draft. What did you call it?
It's approach of work or a work approach to the scope of services within,
Ooh, perfect.
something like that. Or the gist is we want to see how they approach the work at the proposal phase. So we can see, oh, this is their approach. Firms A, B, and C submit proposals. That's their approach. That's their approach. That's their, oh, gee, we really like that kind of thing is what we want to be seeing, I think.
Okay, so I will make an official proposed. Okay,
Please.
so I propose under section 7, fourth bullet, striking comprehensive and replacing it with a sample relevant work product for a digital marketing strategy and campaign plan. And then adding a subsequent new bullet that states a high level draft approach to the scope of services within this RFP.
Second.
Can we just cluster them into, I'll say 2, but it's really, 2 friendly amendments, but both have been moved and seconded.
Yes.
If we can cluster them, okay.
I'll
Before we
second
go
the
on,
First one, I'll second the second one.
Okay.
If that makes you happy.
you did seconds twice, so I think we've squared it now. I think we're okay. Let's tackle that cluster, both of those amendments. All those in favor, Vicky?
Yes, and yes.
Yes and yes. Steve, 1 or 2 yeses? Or
Yes
no?
and yes.
Yes and yes. Liz?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. And Glenn, yes and yes. So unanimous on 8. All right, okay. Can I offer something?
Mhm.
I'm on page 3 with the dates, the date under 5 and the date under 7. So this is gonna just come down to, let's do the date under 7 first. Submission instructions, so it's just so the public understands what we're talking about. Please submit proposals electronically to edic@templetonma.gov by a certain date to be inserted here. Proposal should include the following information. That was the criteria we were just talking about before. So when we have to advertise, how much is this going to be? Because it depends on the under 10 grand 30B procurement, general business practices up to 50 or 100. I keep forgetting the threshold. It's easily lookable, uppable in 3 seconds. I can do it on the phone. That's when you go out to request for proposals at 10 to 50 or 10 to 99.99, whatever it is, 99, 999. So the value of the contract is, oh, I just read it. I'm sorry. The value of the contract is supposed to be 50 grand. Let me do a quick sidebar and do some research on 30B to see what the threshold is. But regardless, even if we're under the threshold to do a request for proposals, I think it's prudent to make sure we put it in the goods and services bulletin, which is free from the Secretary of State's office. And it used to be Combis and now it's Compass, or it used to be
It's
Compass.
Combis.
It's Combis now. Okay, they lost me at Compass a few years ago when they changed it. And long story short, we should just be putting it out there because that's where the consultants and contractors go to read this stuff and look for jobs in the municipalities. As far as the date, if we do both of those, you have to have a minimum of 30-day publication time in the goods and services bulletin. You have to get it in by Wednesday by 4 for the following Monday publication, something like that. I defer if I'm wrong.
Well, no, I just wanted to note
Go ahead.
there is a statewide contract
Yeah.
on marketing,
So we could do that too.
other such things.
Yep.
And so we could go with and what the statewide contract is that,
We can just pluck them.
right, so a state agency has already determined that these are a list of vendors who meet certain criteria.
Right.
And so we can contact them directly.
My only
Um,
question on that is, do we know that these kinds of services have been already procured for the digital
I don't
marketing? So
know.
I don't, if I knew that now, I could say, well, we might not need to advertise because all the procurement's been done by the state.
Right.
But I don't know that, and that would take a few days of research. Well, take an hour of research, no big deal. It would just take some time to figure that out. What I'm going to propose here tonight is that we at least put it in Combis, not Compass, and goods and services, just to get it out there. And we can then, under the law, in compliance with the law, we can email or contact those companies that are pre-approved for procurement and just, maximize getting the word out. So that's all allowable under 30B. And if I've stated anything wrong, I'm going to stick my nose in the 30B manual tomorrow to make sure we're all above board. So that's not an
Nice.
issue. It's just a space in which I live a lot. I say too much. I deeply apologize to all. So the date for number 7 would be approximately submit proposals by about 40 days from now, roughly. And I would ask the EDIC members' indulgence to work out the schedule with Lori offline,
Mhm.
just to get these dates filled in. And let's assume we publish X days out for a deadline of about 35 or 40 days from now. Because if we get it done, we can build a schedule right now. If we get it in by this Wednesday by 4, it goes into next Monday's goods and services bulletin. Add 30 days from that, I don't have a calendar in front of me. So whatever that date is, could be the due date. All right. And then I have to stick my nose back in 30B to see if,
My
Go ahead,
only
Vicky.
hesitation, are we required to attempt to do our procurement through the statewide first as a local
I don't
government?
know. I need to stick my nose back in the law and the 30B procurement guidebook.
I think that's my concern.
Yeah. You can do both. I mean, that's the bottom line. We can do both. The reality is that have a firm take the time to create a proposal to respond to us. I mean, here's the real deadline. We got to get somebody under contract by December 31. And then we've got to do the work, all of it. This says 1 year, but we've got till June 30, 26. So those are the dates that are really hanging over for us. The thing I'm struggling with to answer your question, Vicky, because I prefer to honestly just get it off the state bid list. They're there. I just don't know if they're there. So I think we just have to have a plan in place.
So I think you're suggesting a direct purchase though through the statewide where we would have to do the work to go and find them.
Right,
Versus
exactly.
We could, through this statewide, we could post it on Combis
Yes.
yeah. And
That's all I'm
then,
saying is post on Combis concurrently with goods and services bulletin, because the law is, even though the Secretary of State has come out and said, Combis is nice, but you have to post the goods and services bulletin by law, public entities in Massachusetts. So bottom line is you just do both. The consultants look at both and it's just a concurrent schedule. It's the same thing. It's not, it's not like you're going to do them sequentially like a railroad car. You can do them at the same time. So does that address your concern? What's your concern? I'm really trying to get at it.
yeah, I think I've lost where you are.
Okay,
So-
usually that's what my wife usually says, so that's okay. Go
Can I
ahead.
start something really more basic?
Go
So,
ahead.
August 14th is Wednesday.
Yep,
How many days did you want to add to that?
30.
30. Okay, so August 14th, 2024 plus, and I'm doing this here, folks, so you just know that this is what I'm doing,
Take your time.
plus 30 days gets us to
It's gonna be a Wednesday.
Calculate. $14 plus 30.
So it should be August, should be September 18th. Should be the 30 days.
September 13th.
Yep, that's what I got.
13th? I said it wrong. See, trust
September
Liz, not me. I keep telling you.
Oh, no,
So whatever that date is, it's definitely it's mid-September. And so we get the proposals in.
Yep.
Lori sends them to the five of us, review the proposals, read them for a meeting.
Yeah.
Whatever that meeting date is, to say, okay, you've all read your homework, you've all done it, then we do the evaluation criteria in a public meeting. And we choose who it's gonna be.
Do you do the 30 days from the Monday that it shows up? Or
Yes.
do
Yes.
you want the 18th?
so you want
So
the,
the 18th, yeah, okay.
right,
So
so
it is September 18th.
I should check how many days best practices though. I think it might be 40.
Well, that's my point. If best practices is up to $100,000 and you can just do it in 14, 15 days, then that's the rule. And those are the dates we have to work out. But if the 50 is over and you got to do it's either the 14-day rule or the 30-day rule. And I agree with you. I think it's the 14-day rule. So if it's the 14-day rule and it goes out on next Monday or whatever that date, then add 14 days. You don't have to add 30. So I agree with you. And ideally we can just do the 14 days. But I
didn't say 14, I said 40.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 14. I'm sorry.
all right.
My
thank you, that's why I was
misunderstanding.
confused.
Yeah.
All right,
You
so
can either ask for a quote for a dollar amount. You can do that in 5 business days from companies. If you already have a mailing list, basically, and you send it out to people who are already in the state bid list too. Or you just put it out in goods and services and combines concurrently. And then that ends up being a 30-day posting for about a 35 or 40-day schedule.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
all right, so August 18th
Yeah.
plus 40 days
Yeah.
gets us to September 27th. If I calculated things correctly.
Okay. Did you calculate on next Monday going forward?
Monday, the 18th,
Monday, the 18th of August gets you to September. What again? What was that? I'm sorry.
gets September 27th.
There we go.
So,
So that would probably be the schedule we'd be looking at when I revisit 30B, come back to see Lori tomorrow and just get the thing published.
27th, that's 40 days. All right,
There might be a
Yeah.
newspaper publication too required. I'm not sure.
and if we do that, we need to make sure then. Can we then have a meeting on the following Monday, or do we have to give it a few more days?
Well, you have to, let's say we get only 3 proposals. Let's say we get 30. Whatever the reading material comes in, all 5 of us have to read the proposals
Individually, yeah,
individually, and then we, do this review criteria and all that fun stuff, right? We'll rate them and they have come back here for the public composite rating. And it's just a matter of how much time we need to read the 3 to 2 to 1 to 0 to 30 proposals. So that's the reading time in between. So I don't know if we could do it the next week or not. I don't have an answer.
so it doesn't sound like it.
I would think 2 weeks is reasonable, but also people are going back to school and, there's always this transition of vacations end and school time for folks and so
You
on.
have a meeting on September 9th anyway, and I think that's what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, so that would be under, and then the proposals would come back about a week after that or so, and then we'd be looking at, I don't know, the last week of September, early October, something like that.
Yeah.
We've got a regular October meeting. Apologies.
We don't have an October.
We don't have a one, right, we've been
We'd have
going
to
every
make
other
one.
month.
We've been
We'd have
going
to
every
make,
other-
we would have to make an October meeting.
just for that, because the
Just for that.
September meeting is just for brownfields discussion, just to talk about that and educate ourselves and try to move on, try to help.
There's a date open on September 30th.
There is. And what's the date of submission? I'm sorry, Liz, you just said it, September.
27th.
27th, so the 27th is a Friday,
Yep.
so the next meeting open time is that Monday, the 30th.
I don't think we're all gonna have time to read those
Yeah,
proposals that
that's
week.
the
I think that would be
point.
asking too much. I don't think that's fair to all the members of the EDIC.
All right, so we'd have to go out.
Steve,
Yes.
what's the next open meeting date after that one you just threw out of the 30th? Could you throw out some dates, please?
Nothing on Mondays in October, because the 14th is Columbus Day,
Okay,
assuming.
Do we care? Oh, no, you do care.
yeah, we do. For a lot of reasons.
Sorry.
I can't.
We have to
Sorry.
care by law.
We have to care by law,
We
right?
have to care by law.
The law makes us care.
I can tell you Tuesday dates.
I think that would be good. I don't want to wait till November.
I don't want to wait either. Tuesday.
What do you got on Tuesday, sir?
October 1st, that's too early, probably.
Yeah.
They have to,
How does the
the
8th,
15th,
the 15th? I think the 15th would work.
Yeah.
Should be the day after Columbus Day holiday.
Is it I'm sorry, is it possible to do a Wednesday, instead of a Tuesday?
Oh, it may. It's up to you. What do you think? I mean,
October 16th.
oh, my wife's gonna love that. I'll just bring her to the meeting with me. It's our anniversary. You suffered your anniversary. I will suffer mine. Okay? Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock.
Or,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
We've been meeting traditionally at 6, haven't we?
6,
Pretty much.
5:30, I don't care, pick a
Okay.
time.
You tell me.
6? I'm gonna throw out 6. We have
6.
consent on 6?
6, what,
I think I saw
October.
Vicky nod, but she's so quiet. I'm not sure.
Yes.
so
Great.
we're saying,
October,
October 16th,
Wednesday.
and we review the proposals. We do the composite review, individual at home, composite in here, we fill out the checklist. Under 30B, and then ideally that night we say, okay, based on the composite. If there's one thing that I have to check on also. It's the quote versus the separate envelopes for the quals and the cost proposal. So I think this is a quote thing. I think it's a sound business practice thing. I think you can ask for the quote, the dollar figure within the quals. So I think we're okay. But we're gonna follow the law. That's the bottom line. So 6 PM on the 16th?
Yep.
My
October 16th.
wife's gonna hate me.
Tell her to come.
I'm just gonna bring her because that's when I get some special dispensation. So that's what I'm gonna
I
do.
left him at home.
Maybe he's had many meetings. I don't know. So this is about RFP composite review. Okay, very good. Did we cover that sufficiently? Are we okay
so.
with that? Vicky, are we clear? Are we good? with Your review and your edits and everything and the discussion? Any other comments, questions, concerns?
I have edits as well in addition, and we didn't go through all of Steve's.
Okay,
Only 2 more.
go back to Steve.
And
Sorry, Steve,
my
thank you.
edits are basically what we decided last meeting. So let's see,
Ooh.
after what we did on page 4. On the bottom half, number 2, we added interviews,
Okay,
seeking in additional information. Interviews or revised proposals from respondents at any time prior to selection, and look on the last page. Because we don't have MOAs with Digital Lab or Business Incubator or Massachusetts TV or TCTV, we said the selected agency must be open to collaborating with Templeton EDIC partners, including TCTV, to leverage their expertise and reach. Yes, and that is all I have. I hope.
You also,
Oh.
Steve, under 7.
Oh, that's right. Good catch.
back to 7. Section 7?
second to the last bulletin. Lit.
Yep. Yeah,
Prerequisites.
so under submission instructions, number 7 on page 4. In the bullet points that we were revising, team qualifications and experience, including team leaders and principal project leader.
Great.
That we want listed.
And 3 references.
Yes, and 3 references. Thank you.
Um,
I got lost in my scribbles.
Lori, just for bureaucratic question, is our town administrator our chief procurement officer?
Yes.
So we really should meet with Adam at
Sure.
earliest opportunity tomorrow if he's free, but we'll work that out. So the schedule may or may not be adjusted by the time that Lori and I can meet with the chief procurement officer. Obviously, we want to follow all the local Templeton rules, policies, procedures according to whatever they are.
Yep.
So, I mean, and I don't know if this got to go to the Board of Selectmen for review or if Adam just takes care of it. I just don't know. So that could push the schedule out, but I think it's just a quote. I think we'll just be able to turn the 30 back into 14 or 15. We'll just see. So we'll do our due diligence during the day. And then maybe Lori, when it's kind of the dust is settled on this, maybe if you could then email all the members and just say, okay, we had the meeting, it was good public discourse, and then we met with the town administrator, CPO, and then this is the schedule. I think we should inform the members of what's going on, something like that. Deal? Okay. Did we cover this okay?
I have a few more edits.
Keep going, please.
So thank you so much, Steve, for capturing everything we talked about last week. I thought all of your edits looked great. I just had a few additional On page 2, under section 3, bullet reporting and analysis. The first sub bullet is provide regular reports on campaign performance, and I added, so including, I added the KPIs identified by the vendor, comma, and then a continued list. On page 3, under 5, I just added under the last bullet related to the date, the anticipated start date for this agreement is, and then the add start date here. Under 6, section 6, still on page 3, first bullet, I fleshed out the first bullet just a little bit. So we've got already here, experience and expertise, demonstrated experience in developing and executing successful digital marketing campaigns for economic development organizations. And my suggestion would be to put a comma and add state or local governments, small businesses, or other relevant businesses. And then I would strike the what, thank you, Steve, for putting it, but I would strike the language, the specify if you work with other EDOs or other or relevant organizations, and do it as a continued list instead.
They're going to anyway. If somebody worked for the Deerfield EDIC and they did something like this or similar, they're gonna put it in a proposal because they want us to know. But I like the edit. It broadens it.
Okay, so
Vicky, others?
Under section 7 on page 4. I'm losing what was Steve's and what was mine, but the third bullet down, I would add a statement. Oh, this was mine. So our bullet initially just said understanding of edict's mission and goals. And I wanted to turn it into a request for the bidder to do something. And so I said a statement of the bidders, and then we have understanding of edict's mission and goals and why they fit into the company's mission.
Company meaning the bidder.
So yeah, the bidder's
Yeah,
mission.
yeah.
So the company would be struck and it would be bidder.
Can you explain?
Yeah,
why
so-
you want-
Oh, sorry.
Well, can you explain why you want to add that?
Yeah, so the bullet before said, so taken in the contest text, it would say proposal should include the following information. And the ask was understanding of edict's mission and goals.
Mhm.
But I just want to make sure that they understand what we're asking for by an understanding.
Mhm.
And so I am totally open to suggestions. I was just trying to think of how we could turn that into a prompt. And I was thinking we could say a statement, we could request a statement of their understanding of our goals and why their company cares.
I like that because
Yeah.
it makes them articulate what we want.
And it also tries to see if there is a cultural fit between what they're doing versus what we would like to do. I think that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I absolutely love it. I don't change a word. My only observation, it's not a concern at all. My only observation is EDI's mission and goals. I don't remember if we've ever adopted a mission and set goals, or if we just said powers and duties under the state statute 121C, subsection, whatever. Those powers and duties, that's our missions. That's our mission. That's what we're supposed to be. But please remind me, have we ever come up with a mission statement? Or so if on the other side, the proposers, the companies ask, well, what is your mission? What are your goals? And they called me and I would say, let's check out the state statute. I have nothing else to, or if it was Lori, I guess we have to answer, check out the statute. So should we just say in accordance with 121C subsection, what this shows our powers and duties? Because officially I don't think we've done that yet. But I like this. I like asking them for something.
Yeah.
I love the sentence is my point.
Well, no, yeah, this wasn't mine. So I'm hearing from you, strike mission and goals and add edicts.
Enabling statute and powers and duties.
Well, yeah, we could even say So under, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, understanding edicts, mission and goals as outlined by the statute,
You can do that too.
because
You can
that
do
way,
too.
that way it's.
I mean, the
it's
mission
one-
is in there for an EDIC, probably under, one of the first subsections. And then the powers and duties are several subsections down.
Because we wouldn't be getting to the mission and goals
Mhm.
until after we've done the plan.
The ED
Okay,
plan.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed,
So,
agreed.
That sounds great.
There is a
Okay.
mission statement on the website.
There is, what is it?
It says creating and retaining jobs and increasing property tax revenue in Templeton.
Okay, then I claw back everything I just said, and as long as it's there, but I would recommend that we put in the URL that into the, copy and paste the URL into the RFP, so they can just go to our mission and goals.
Okay.
That's fine, and we're good,
Okay.
Vicky, I'm sorry, Liz, go ahead.
okay,
You're gonna say something.
I'm trying to keep us, we've made a bunch of changes.
Mhm.
Some of which we have put into a motion and approved.
Yep.
Others we haven't.
Right,
So is the plan that we're just going to do one large motion at the end?
I would recommend that,
Yeah.
sure, because we started with the little ones, but we didn't do the others. So if that's okay with everybody,
Okay.
I make a motion, all you get is we just talked about, we're in agreement with. Is there a motion and second? We'll vote. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay, very good.
Just
It's a good
keep-
procedural observation. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, just a few more. The last bullet under section 7, I would just reword it to say the contact information for 3 previous client references. So we're being specific. We're not asking for a written reference statement.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 8 on page 6. I'm just gonna pull out Steve's edit so I know whose is whose.
I've lost track.
Um,
Yeah, I was
lost
following
track
orders.
too. So I think, there we go. I would just add 1, instead of selected agency, I would say selected vendor.
Mhm.
And then after including TCTV, I would add as directed by the edict.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Nice.
And as a reminder to what I said earlier, standard delivery instructions for TA for the town administrator. So we will have that conversation. We'll try to do it tomorrow. Okay. Soon is my point. Okay, very good. Are we all set with all the recommended edits from all parties?
Yes, I just have a logistical question. So
Ask, please,
how
sir.
are these gonna be compiled? Lori has,
I have to watch the meeting
Vicky's-
over again to make sure we get it all right.
okay,
Is that what you're gonna do? You're just gonna look at this section and go through them? Okay, do you want written
And
notes
I
also?
saw Vicky taking fastidious notes over there too,
yeah,
because you have both copies in your packet.
I'm happy to make the edits if that's simplest.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh,
you got it.
okay.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
for
go with
volunteering.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Great.
thank you, Becky.
So glad you moved to town. This is great.
Okay,
Liz,
so are we ready for a motion?
well, why don't you make one?
Okay.
Whether we're ready or not, you're allowed. Go for it.
Well, if we're
That's
ready.
okay.
Okay, so I move that we accept all of the edits as discussed and tacitly agreed to at the moment. Yeah, because we're now going to agree to them, and that Vicky will make the edits and she will provide it to Lori.
Perfect.
Is there a second on that? It's a great motion. Is there a second on that?
Second,
Any discussion on that motion? All those are in favor, please say aye. If not, nay. Vicky,
Aye.
Steve,
yes.
Liz?
Yes.
I'll make it unanimous for bleeding for like a millisecond. I forgot your first name. I told Lori earlier, I took a nap. It wasn't long enough. I'm so sorry. So we have accomplished items 1, 2. 3 is economic development planning project. So,
Can I back up a second?
yeah, please. I'm sorry, please,
Do we
please.
need to vote on releasing the RFP? as is.
That would be a good
For
idea for the
edits.
minutes. It would, because the action of the EDIC is now to release once edited. That would be a sensational motion to have on the table in the minutes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting looked at as if I should make a motion.
Yes, you are. Yeah, we're all, actually, everybody in the room's looking at you.
I motion to approve the RFP for release as edited.
Is there a,
As-
I'm sorry,
With our changes.
is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, Liz,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Vicky?
Yes.
I'll make it unanimous. So that's good. So we got the edits and we took a vote to release. Vicky has a question I
And
can
the
tell.
one final thing on it,
Okay. No comment.
I am inclined to defer to whatever Adam thinks in terms of form and structure as to how to release it to the public or to vendors under the statewide as our procurement officer.
Agreed.
I'm wondering if we should also vote on that since we haven't
Why
determined. the
not?
form.
Why not? Let's,
Might
let's,
as well,
let's
because
be.
it doesn't hurt anything.
It does
Okay.
not. You want to make that in some form of motion, Vicky?
Yes, I move to issue this RFP in whatever form and format to either statewide vendors or to the public through combis as recommended by our town procurement officer.
There we go. Is there a second on that?
Second that.
Any discussion on the motion? It's usually about form and format. Every town has its own style. So I think that's a really good point.
I'm not against the motion. I would just say that in the past, Adam has told me that EDIC is its own thing. Mhm. So he
Well-
may defer.
Then this is our olive
Yeah.
branch. And I think this is a good time to communicate on an important issue because there's going to be a lot more in the future. Hey, can we have that, reimbursement check to pay for the consultant? You agree to all the format, town board selectmen sign the contract on our behalf. So I think it's a good initial conversation to have with administration.
Mhm.
And being a boring bureaucrat administrator, those are the conversations I love to have. So we'll get through that.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine.
And
Yes,
the,
please.
yeah, and the other thing is just making sure that, yeah, because you said form and format, right? So he's not gonna be making any other editorial changes to it.
I don't see that as happening. I think, I get the sense that, we're doing our job, doing our due diligence. And though I see the worst case scenario is if the town administrator and or the board of selectmen have a problem with this, then we would communicate with them and say, we're under a deadline to go out to bid for a variety of things, to get things under contract by December 31. We're gonna do for, a lawyer and a consultant for this and civil engineer and theoretically a consultant for the ED plan. But we're rocking and rolling between now and September. We're gonna get a lot of work done. And if we've gone astray in anything, just let us know. It's about communication.
Mhm.
Everything about government is about communication. So let's just rock and roll.
Yeah, the format, that is a great point, though. I guess I was considering, do we have a standard town? Is there a font? Do they put letterhead? I have no idea.
And I'm sure, the comment on the very end, standard delivery instructions per the town administrator on the back on page 6. It's like, okay, we wrote this in our world, in our way, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure they're good at system.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that what we've put forward is what's going to be released.
Mhm.
And what I don't want to see happening is anybody outside of the EDIC
Mhm.
deciding that something needs to be added or deleted, or I no, what it is.
We'll
is
work
what-
toward that very cooperatively, and if I
Yes.
get a hint where something like that might happen, and I'll be prepared for it and just say, okay, well, do you want to do it that way? And let's just talk. We're all adults. Let's just get through this. I mean, at the end of the day, if someone wants to change narrative, it's going to delay us getting things under contract to access the gift of $200,000 for economic development
Yeah.
planning in the town of Templeton. And we've been doing our due diligence now for about a year. We're tidying up this, let's get stuff under contract. If someone has any issue with that, then let's just talk it through and get it done. No one wants to lose the $200,000.
No.
So I don't think there'll be someone, but I will be, thank you. I would not have thought of that. Thank you for putting that into the minutes.
And I'm
Thanks, Vicky.
happy to amend my motion to say that I move to issue this RFP either under a statewide contract or through to the public through combis as recommended by the town administrator and in a form and format but no content difference from what we've agreed upon tonight. That's a very lengthy and a bit of a stream of consciousness
That
motion.
was really
but-
well said. Is there a second on that kind of? Vicky amended her other motion.
Yes.
Yes,
Second.
there's a second on that. Vicky, would you do a friendly withdrawal of the first motion?
Yes,
that you
I
did?
withdraw
Would the
the
person
first motion.
seconding the first one be okay with the withdrawal of that first motion? So officially now we're talking about the extra few words, comma, contingent and all that other stuff. She's gonna write down, I know, by watching the video. Okay, or Jess, or whomever. Deal? Okay, so with that, I think that was a great discussion. Any further discussion on that? New motion, the other one has been withdrawn. We're good? So some silencio. All those in favor, Vicky,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
I'll say yes also, so that's unanimous, okay? I think that was a lot of good work. I really do. We have more to do, a little bit more, I know that, but I think that was very helpful. Thank you all. That's how government should work, I think. So we did economic development. No, we didn't do. We did continue review RFP. We did that. So 3 is economic development planning project. I want to make sure that this is on the agenda until, the EDIC moves to the contract. So I did talk to the town clerk today. And I said, I'm confused. Do I file my request? Do I file my potential conflict of interest with you? Do I go to the state first? She said, let me just give you the phone number for the right person at the state to call. Here, I said, thank you. So I'm going to call tomorrow morning, say, what do I do? And then way before we meet September 9th, I'll talk to Lori. She can issue whatever Glenn found. We'll keep you all in the loop. All right, through you. All right. I just want to get that done this week because I've been saying I'm going to do it for 3 months or 4 months. And I'm just focused right now to get the gosh darn task accomplished. And then I think we know the rest of the story with the ED project. So I'll stay out of it, do what you got to do to engage. And then there'll be communication again with the town administrator about, okay, now this is an interlocal contract. You don't have to go out to bid, but town administrator, do you want to? And we're just going to defer. The EDIC has chosen, but it's, you have to approve. Okay. So there we go. I mean, we're just following the rules, right?
Okay.
Any comments, questions on the point while it's,
No.
I think, I've talked about it to death for a long time, so let's just move on if that's okay. All right, fine. We have public comment and we have, thank you for the public for coming in tonight.
You're welcome.
I don't know who you are, so could
Julie Richard.
Julie Richard. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so friggin' long. How are you?
Been a long time.
Well, yeah, pre-COVID, for me, that's a long time. That's like, what am I?
It has been, yeah.
I apologize. I didn't.
I think it
recognize
was
you.
pre-COVID.
Oh,
last
it
time I
was.
saw you, yeah.
I just came up for air about 3 weeks ago, so. Public comment time. So this is the time for anybody in the public. Can I just ask a quick administrative question? Do we have anybody online that's watching that made any comments in the public session? And then I'll ask Julie if she has any. Oh, it's behind me too. I always forget.
There are a couple of comments, but no questions to the corporation.
Okay, so we are asking for public comments at this point in time. So if there's anybody online who wants to say anything, Julie,
I have no public comment at this time.
comment,
but
questions,
thank you.
concerns? Oh, okay. Well, it's on the agenda. That's why we've gotten back to
Absolutely.
making sure it's there. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. It's nice to see you again. Okay, so that's Julie, everybody. Mainly for me and probably Vicky, I guess. I don't know. What's next on the agenda? Board member comment. Are there any comments from the members of the board? Liz, can I start with you and just go that way? And then I don't think I have anything, but go ahead.
Sure. So we have been doing this for coming up on a year or so, or plus or minus. I'm not sure. I've lost track of time. It all blurs at this point for me. I would like us to get, I want us moving forward. I want us making some real progress. There are other conversations going on in town right now about a certain property that has potential ramifications or things that for EDIC. And I just want to make sure that we're involved at the appropriate, correct time. And if it does not need us, great, perfect, wonderful. But it is commercial property. So, and that really is my comment. I just want to make sure.
Are you willing to name the property? You don't have to. I'm not forcing you
It's
to.
24
Holman?
Holman,
Oh, okay.
the old Temple Stewards.
Yeah, we have a September 9th meeting and that's the only agenda point, if I remember correctly. Right, Lori? So, yeah. So just so you know, I asked for it to be put on the agenda for like a single only night for the September 9th. just to try to have a conversation in the public domain, because I've received a couple of emails here and there from a couple people. And I keep imploring them, please, talk in the public and open, because,
Yeah.
Honestly, they can obviously email any one member of us and say, well, what's your opinion? It's like, yeah, that's what I think, but only one member. I can't, I'm not deliberating with you, but the reality is that come to a public meeting and talk to us.
It has to be a townwide, and I'm putting in my input on this.
Please do.
It needs to be a townwide discussion,
Mhm.
not a
Agreed.
targeted.
Yep.
Address discussion.
Right. Yes, the brownfield in question, the property,
Yeah.
the site in question,
That comment 100%, Lori.
that's not, it's, brownfields, every community has usually, I can't say every community, many communities have multiple brownfield sites. And there's a conversation, a lot of focus on one particular, usually in a community that's very, very common. And in this town, it has a number 24, and then, in Clinton 20 years ago, it was, 184 Stone Street. So we all have those problem children, if you will. But it has to be a global discussion about, what is brownfields? What does it mean? What do they do? What can you get? What can't you get? Why you do these things? Why you don't do those things? And so on and so forth. So kind of a global discussion. I spent 25 years in brownfields, EPA administration of grants. So I have some knowledge. I am not the font of all wisdom on that. But the reality is that with all the heads in the room, we should just have a public discussion. So the EDAC is at least going to offer the opportunity to discuss
In another meeting.
brownfields in general. And most likely, I'm guessing the focus of a lot of comments will be about a specific property.
Yep.
And that's okay. But then I'm going to say, what about this one? And what about this one? And what about this one? And what about this? And I got 10 more.
Okay.
So let's have a global. If you want to focus, let's just honest, open debate never killed anybody. So
I
thank you.
it's a commercial piece of property.
Yep.
There's a lot of concerns about it. We don't currently have a plan and a direction for what we want to do, because we haven't gotten that far.
Right.
It's like, I'm getting antsy because I want to get stuff done.
Mhm.
I want forward progress. I want to show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We made a difference doing whatever it is, XYZ, whatever it is. So, okay, I'm done.
Thank you. No. That's why we had board comments. We need to know what's on the minds and, what should be in our public debate. Can I do the ladies first? How about Vicky?
Absolutely.
So then I'll go to you, Steve.
I have a few.
Okay.
One, our Gardner, Massachusetts Chamber of Commerce and Local Realtors letter. I had written on it to review for our next meeting, and I just want to make sure we don't lose track of that. I don't know
Okay.
if that's something we've sent yet.
Oh,
There was an action item.
yeah, there was. We haven't sent it, I don't believe.
I haven't, no.
No, I haven't sent it either. So can you, I'll come in tomorrow. Can you kind of like point me to the documents again, please, and just remind me what it is
I found in my book.
as soon as you find.
Poke.
Poke me. Adequately poked. Thank you, Vicky.
I don't know. I don't recall if we reviewed it as a group either. So that might need to be something we do
It would.
first. Okay.
So let's, I'm gonna say, as one member, just keep in our minds, maybe tentatively we put that on September 9th, just as an action item to follow up on. And whether 1 people or 100 people show up for a brownfields discussion, we might not be able to do it that night, or we may. And then if not, we can do it later.
Okay.
Fair enough, Vicky?
That sounds great. And then
What else?
if I can be annoying and add 2 other things for our September agenda.
Can't be annoying, but you can add the agenda. You can propose them, absolutely.
Yeah, propose, and it doesn't need to be September necessarily, but
Okay.
2 other things I want to make sure we don't lose track of. We said we would look at the budget for that $200,000 draft grant that we had
Yes,
drafted,
yes.
and I haven't seen it, and I would love to.
Oh,
Um,
could you send that out to all of us?
I can.
Thank you. At least we'd have it in our email prior to
That
the
sounds
next
great.
meeting. And yes, that's a great idea. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Vicky.
thank you,
What else you
Lori.
got?
And then we had said last meeting that we need an MOU, a memorandum of understanding with the
Yes.
town of Templeton.
Yes,
An interlocal MOU to say they will expend/manage our funds.
right.
And I think that was the extent of the comment, but I think that's a really good point that we should discuss.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take, I may be wrong about this. Was Mike drafting something?
Yes,
Thank you. So I'm
Okay.
remembering correctly,
yes.
but I think if Mike didn't have a family issue tonight or whatever he's got going on, that's personal. He probably wouldn't mind have brought that back under board comments. But at the very least, we should at least
Check.
tag it on the 9th if you could check him on the status with him.
Yep.
And if he's got a X% draft, maybe through you could send that out to all the members of the EDIC, because that would at least give us some, you can take it and put it in to your Templeton, EDIC folder on your desktop, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And then we can bring it up again
That
and
sounds
set
great.
at the September or October meeting, whatever we're gonna do.
And then last note was, if it's possible to ask MRPC for a template contract that they have used in the past, that we can work with to create our agreement with them.
That's easy. We do them all the time, so. I would recommend to the staff, Lori, that she reaches out to, you can just do, you can just do it to Tracy. You CC Karen as a courtesy.
Right.
But Tracy can just shoot you we have a standard contract at the office, so.
Yeah, if you don't mind emailing them, Lori, that would be awesome.
And I would say that, MRPC is always willing to take input on forms and formats of contracts and language. It's not an issue. So we're a pretty open group. Accommodating to our clients. No client has ever asked us to edit a contract, but with a lawyer on the EDIC, I think we might get a comment or two.
I roll in everything.
No, you
And we-
provide good input.
Yeah, you do. Now, you said 3 things, but that was 4. So do you have a 5th? Or you all good?
Um.
I am teasing. I'm teasing.
I
Absolutely. teasing.
bundled 2 of them.
You okay, you bundled. But no bundling allowed. Only by Comcast and Verizon contract. Okay, very good. Seriously, Vicky, you all set? You good?
Yes, thank you.
Steve, did you have anything, sir?
Yep, just a couple quick things. Thank you, Vicky, for the changes to the RFP proposal. I thought those were awesome, and I appreciate your input from a legal standpoint. It's good to have that. And I concur with Liz on the Holman Street properties, and I think we should, as an EDIC, at least try to know as much as possible about that and stay up on it. And,
Yeah.
It may not be appropriate for us to voice an opinion here and there on it, but I think we should really understand what's going on, because there's a lot of confusion
Yes.
with that. I know I've been trying to keep up on it the best that I can. And also, other developments in town. I know people have been asking me, I haven't got a chance to buttonhole Lori about this, but, lots at TDC being surveyed by the state.
They don't have to report to us.
Really? So people are asking me, well, what's going on? You're on EDIC, and I said,
So obviously you have the font of all
Yeah.
information on everything I can.
and I'm hearing 5-acre lots.
So they already did some of the 5-acre lots. They went before the planning board. All the ones right along the road, King Philip Trail.
Okay,
What they're trying to do when they did those is they're looking for people who are agriculturally minded,
I
hoping
remember that meeting. Yeah.
hoping to sell to someone who's going to do something agriculturally. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but it'll be interesting to see the rest of
It
it.
kind of sounds like they're looking for homesteaders of 150 years ago. It's interesting.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
To
neat.
be designated as a farm, there is a minimum acreage.
There is, but I don't think they're just aiming, I don't think they're aiming at like big farms. I think they're looking to sell 5-acre lots.
Right. So,
Apologies.
okay. It'll have to be a question on another night.
Yeah, we don't really have anything from them, so we don't really know.
May I ask a question? What's the minimum acreage for a farm?
I'm
This
trying
is
to
not-
remember.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to remember what
I
it is.
withdraw the question.
Yeah,
I didn't
I-
realize.
No, there is a minimum acreage that's required.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And under the right to farm community.
Yeah.
And there's certain rules, and I don't think 5 acres is, if, I can't remember how much it is.
I
But-
don't know
yeah,
off the top of my head.
And I think it's more than 5 acres. But I'm not sure. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just know there is a minimum number of
Interesting.
acres. So,
Could I make a comment on that?
Sure, go ahead.
They really don't have to answer to the town of Templeton, Massachusetts. So
Well,
the
it's the state-owned
gossip can
property.
go-
Yeah.
Right.
Gossip can go all at once. I wouldn't put energy into it being in the format that you're in. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. What do you mean by the format that we're
When
in?
it comes out, right, when it comes out, it will come out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I see what you
In the
mean.
meantime,
The room is the discussion.
the rumor discussion within bodies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
departments,
well said.
you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, very,
It's-
only
it's
too well.
Really,
Yes.
Well, that's good
you're
knowledge, because
wasting
I
your
do,
own good time, you know
Yeah.
what I
I
mean?
didn't connect
Good,
those.
good to be aware of though.
When it comes out, it'll come out.
Oh, yeah. Somebody will
Yeah,
publicize
yeah.
it at some point in time. On that note by Julie, and this is why when I get an email about Temple Stewart from a
Somebody.
couple of people, yeah, I'm not gonna mention names, but and to their credit, you know, they really care, they're really concerned, they want to see something done in the positive, and I applaud them for their energy, I really, really do. But the reality is, nothing's gonna happen unless we have public discussions, reached consensus, come up with a plan. If the town's involved at all, which you've heard me talk about it before, you know my stand on it, but nobody really knows why. So I'm gonna list out my 30 reasons why we shouldn't go there, but the reality is that you gotta do this stuff in the public. Because my dad and a lot of us, you know, used to go to the general store and sit around the table, and then when I was on that side of the table as a select board member, you know, Walter and Pete were in the back throwing hand grenades and water balloons, and they'd say, the word on the street is, and it was so funny because for 2 years I was chair, and I had the privilege of being chair. And every time they said that, the word on the street was wrong because people didn't have information. That's my point.
They didn't
So
have
if we can
their
have public meetings and
Yeah.
public discourse on the topic, let's do that, because it doesn't help. You know, I mean, talk, it's a free society. We have freedom of speech. Talk all you want, but when you really want to, you know, get something done, we need to come together. And that's what I'm hoping. And I think, you know, our meeting on September 9th is just to, you know, we can understand if somebody wants to come and tell us. And then, you know, I'll write down my 10 or 20 or 30 reasons why I think I do. I'll write them down for the minutes, and then I'll stop talking about it. But, you know, I'd like to hear from other people too, to say, well, what having said that, I will close on the brownfields issue by saying many municipalities get involved in facilitating the process to see the redevelopment of brownfields happen. The level of involvement is not always, and very rarely, taking the ownership control of a site. That is very few and far between as examples, especially certain properties that have a great deal of perceived or real contamination. The last thing I really will say, sorry, there is so much to be learned by reading the Massachusetts DEP reportable sites lookup. And if you just Google that and put it into Google, Massachusetts DEP reportable sites lookup, you get a little dialog box, and you put in the address. And there are 30 years of DEP and EPA reports. There are thousands of pages. So some of the emails I'm getting are, well, you know, this never happened. Yeah, it did. Please read. And I just implore anybody who's listening and watching to be informed, be educated, and then let's have some good discussion. I think ultimately, you know, conversations about any brownfield, that's really ultimately the responsibility of the leadership of the community, select board, and town administrator's office. So I defer to them. We're just a tool to do some economic development stuff. We're a cog in the wheel. So we'll see what happens. We need some good debate. Steve, anything else?
So I just want to reiterate that I think that we should try to stay up on developments in town.
Yeah.
And even I'm glad we had the discussion about TDC, because now I can refute the word on the street that it's 5 acres with McMansions.
Right.
Oh, we don't know that.
Yeah,
It's TCS now, it's not TDC anymore.
Okay.
You've got to keep up on the.
Yeah, they change them every once in a while.
Yeah.
You're right, Julie.
Thank you.
every
Well
once.
said. Very well said. Well, okay, so the area of, what is it now?
TCS.
TCS, the old TDC, the old Fernald Farm? Okay.
Mhm.
It's zoned for 5-acre homes. That may or may not be where the 5 acres coming from. I don't know. But my colleague and I at MRPC from 06 to 08 wrote the zoning for the town, and I actually wrote the 5-acre zone because it's state land. Nothing was going to happen there.
Right.
You know, and virtually nobody can create a 5-acre zone. It would look like Easton or Hamilton with $1.5 million homes there. And just as easily, the zoning can be changed to do something else, like, oh, just permanently protected agricultural, which it is permanently protected agricultural by the state anyway. So it didn't really matter what we zoned for. So 5 acres may be tied to the zoning. I don't know. Go and do your reading, folks, and enjoy that. So thank you. That's good. And that's what we should keep up on.
Yep.
What's going on?
I'm done.
You're done?
Mhm.
What did I, okay, did the ladies, I did you, I'm done. I've said my piece. So I think we're good. That ends the, okay, we have a next meeting scheduled on 9/9. That's agenda item 6. Agenda item 7 is, oh, before I go to ask for an adjournment, are we okay with 9/9? Did anything happen? Anybody scheduled the last month or so, or y'all okay still with 9/9? Okay, very good. Is there a motion to adjourn then?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Vicky,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
I'll make it unanimous at about